What's going on, y'all? It's another episode of Minding Your Biz. We live on this hump day, after election day. I'm one of your co-hosts, Dr. Black Wealth, and we got...
It's your girl, Miss Fat Financial, checking in.
Oh, this
checking
sounds...
in. Play the music. Yes, we said.
Oh,
go
my
ahead and gloat for
God.
2.2.
Why y'all so sad?
Go ahead. Just go ahead.
All your hopes and dreams at the ballot box.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Put that in there.
So we covering the election live. Yes, we know we still calculating a few. We got a couple states left, but every news people I know, CNBC, Wall Street, Times have declared Donald J. Trump as president-elect as he regained the White House.
Yes.
How are we feeling? What's the initial thoughts?
I was disappointed, of course. That wasn't my candidate of choice. And I was even more disappointed with some of the down ballots. I always felt like we could be smarter in our decision. If you wanted the president, I think he needs a checks and balance, even in your state houses. So I was disappointed. No, I'm not even a thing. He wasn't my candidate. But, he is my president, and it is what it is. And so I'm still going to, fight the good fight. Still going to be in the political arena every 2 years, seeing what's happening in there. And I think this is a something that we all should look at and dissect, right? How did he win? How did she lose? What was the messaging? And how that correlates with what you expect your next 4 years to look like, right? You elected him as your president. What does that look like for us as Americans, on the federal level and on the state level? So that's the beginning part of my analysis of it. But I think overall, I was kind of expecting it. I saw the rollout. I've been hearing it in the air. And I think that the Republican Party and Donald Trump has done a really good job at the messaging and marketing that now they're the party for the people. Is like funny in a sense, on how they were able to coalesce and bring together and chip away the typically Democratic strongholds, which are younger voters, Black voters, and some educated people. That's how they separate it. Whether we agree or disagree how those buckets work, but that's how they label them, right? If you are in those buckets. So I was kind of like, dag, wow, okay, it's messaging, because the policy doesn't connect, but for me, it's the messaging. So that's my 2.2. So
cool. I mean, I don't even know if I got. I mean, really, I really wasn't surprised. It was funny to me because I just knew so many people was just like Kamala for whatever reason. I really didn't have a stake in the game on either one of them, but I think it's interesting. As I watched the news all night and all morning, one of the things that our counterparts do that I think is very interesting is,
when you say counter, who you referring to? Counterparts? Women, men, Democrats? I don't know. You said counterparts.
Yeah.
White people? I don't know who are. Oh, okay. I didn't know which part.
So when we talk about them, one of the things that they have the ability to do is really agree to disagree very well. That benefits on both sides, right? And so the sentiment across, I was watching CNBC this morning, Squawk Box, and the sentiment across there was, of course, there was a lot of people who wasn't for Trump that they were interviewing, but the sentiment was, he has done something nobody's ever did as a business person, as a political leader. You gotta respect what he did. You know what I mean? Like respect the game. You know what I'm saying? So, and when I looked at it from that perspective, I'm like, you really do. The way he capitalized on standing strong and firm in what he believed, leaning into what the people wanted to hear, right? Whether he do it or not, that's what we'll be covering over the next 4 years.
Yeah.
It would be my intent, though, to out the gate, be trying to give you the top few things that you should be doing to capitalize in this next 4 years. All stocks are up. The biggest ones that I was had my ear to were all the bank stocks are up. And so all the investors are anticipating a more fluid, lenient banking
less
structure. So more commercial lending. There's going to be more mergers and acquisitions there, which benefits me for sure. And it's going to benefit anybody in the tax industry. You're going to be up, right? Because now everybody's going to file taxes, whether you in business or not. Because I think that you're going to get something out of it.
I mean, I don't know. Well, he wasn't planning on doing anything for regular folks for taxation. His plan was to cut corporate tax.
Right. This is minding your biz. I don't know nothing about regular people.
But we're in the business of taxes. We do taxes for regular folks.
We do. And we file. And I file them too.
I know. I'm just saying your statement was, I'm sorry. I'm just saying the statement was.
I ain't dismissing regular people, but I'm just saying, as a firm who work with a lot of business owners and individuals, I think that you got a lot of individuals, let's be real, who got these side hustles and LLCs. I think you should lean more into it or start yours. This will be the time to benefit if you want to benefit.
I think it's the same. I don't think they're benefiting by him being president.
Okay, I guess we'll see. We'll cover it over the next 4 years.
Unless he comes up with a policy we didn't cover.
Right. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
But the way he did everything from a strategy perspective, a business perspective, like I'm definitely going to break that down because he shocked everybody. I mean, a lot of people didn't think that he was going to, despite all the odds, they didn't think he was going to win. They thought it was going to be really close, and he did a full house sweep. We talking a political professional athlete here.
No, for sure. He Harris got 24 right now, 24 electoral votes, and he got the 277 over the 270 mark. She pulled out 666 million and he got 71 million. So the Senate right now is red. The House is maybe they're going to maintain some. There's a couple states still out, but they'll probably be really close. If not, maybe only have a 1 or 2 seater where I don't know. It may be really close, but there's state houses. But what was interesting too, though, because I looked at even some of the votes when people talk about third party. Jill Stein got 600,000 votes. Robert Kennedy got another 500,000. Chase Oliver got another 500,000. So when people talk about third parties, that just keeps diluting the Democratic base. So I really feel like, Robert Kennedy eventually ended up going to Trump. Like, was it all a setup from the beginning? Like, I almost feel like, what's the point of even running as a third party candidate who you get really no traction? You just keep kind of chipping down on one of the two major two-party candidates.
But I think it helps a lot of people who are in the middle. Because you got big, strong investment people who are like, I don't like neither one of them. They didn't like Trump. They didn't like Harris.
Sure.
But then you got a large population of people who were like, hey, I'm just not going to vote. But then you got a lot of people who voted, but they voted for
or someone
Jill
else.
Because
it was others got 300,000 votes.
And that ought to tell you,
so that came to like
big
1 million
sentiment of people who are really
1.5 million.
They didn't care either way. And then at the same time, though, people with money, they're like, hey, I don't like Trump's character, but will he do good for my pockets? Yes. And so, I think this election is very eye-opening to a lot of different fields. I think the Democratic Party needs to revitalize what they actually stand for and speak up to the things that actually matters to people. They can't go off their history because it's shaky.
I think Democrats,
they got another 4 years to prep Harris.
What I think, though, Democrats, of course, need to it's always messaging, because the policy and the messaging don't connect, right? Because on policy, Democrats have done more for everyday people than Republicans. However, the messaging speaks a little high level and elitist, where I think Donald Trump kind of dumbs it down. I don't want to offend nobody, but he dumbs it down and make you feel like you're him, right? He speaks really plain, really like we're going to make America great again. And that's interpretive. What does that mean? He speaks very plain. I think his marketing and his messaging, even the Republican Party is really is better. It's better. It galvanizes everyday people, though the policy isn't connecting. It doesn't correlate.
Yeah, but I think that's again where the Democrats got to come in and kind of, they really got to revitalize that party in a sense, because even with the policies, I mean, we on paper the policies look good, but then majority of the people don't benefit in a way from it. They don't feel it, and I think that be the major difference, right? And so, what two biggest things that,
because that's emotional, that's marketing.
That's all. That's what it is.
The thing was, do you feel, not factual? Do you feel the economy is better?
Sometimes perception is.
That's what I'm saying. Those statistics is saying that it's better. You don't feel it's better,
right,
even though it could not be better because of your own mismanagement of funds. You're going to displace it, right? You're going to displace it. Well, I don't feel like I'm making any money, and so who can I blame? Who's 100%. At the person at the top? 100%. Oh, it's Joe Biden. I'm gonna blame him,
because the top two issues where he was leading in was the economy overall, and the immigration.
Yep.
And so the last part of that was they were really surprised about the number of women voters he won over, dealing with the whole abortion side of it. And so, but those top three things, the top two being the economy and
democracy.
Right.
It was economy, democracy, and immigration.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, Trump is in there. January 20th is around the corner. What does this mean from an economic business perspective, right? So we know that he's going to keep his tax cuts reform act in. He's looking to do no taxes on Social Security, no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime.
See how that works.
Wants to drop the corporate rate from 21% to 15%. So at minimum, it'll stay 21%, because I think the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act
expires
next year.
Yeah.
Right. So now it'll be a heavy push to keep it in there. He's going to probably figure out something with oil in America, tariffs, and war. Those are the biggest things he
war is there. It's there.
Right, but he might.
Netanyahu is like,
he might
skipping around in his undergarments in his house, like, yay.
From an emotional standpoint,
it's gonna be like.
From an emotional standpoint, I think that was another thing that people were like championing him on is just his power structure in his conviction. When you look at Kamala, she don't be convicted. She don't convince me.
Okay. That's messaging.
That is messaging. But when you break down this part, I'm telling you, this between this and a couple other things, man, this probably will go down as one of the campaigns you want to kind of study to build.
I agree. I think the Democrats made a really false move. They should have pushed him out sooner.
Right.
And vetted and had a true primary,
100%.
Because that's what birthed Barack.
Right.
He came through that primary amongst all those people on the field, and he
still came from out of nowhere, but he championed.
But what I'm saying is that the primary makes you into something.
Yeah.
People start to like you and know you and trust you, right? It's been 12 months, you know what I mean? The primary, I think, is almost like 2 years, a year and a half.
They threw her in the ring.
It was like, shoot, I think they probably could have, because they both were from the state of California. Because I was saying that the governor of California I think he would have been able to give Donald Trump a run for his money. I mean, he's progressive, he has strong ideas, and he's a white man. So we do have to play identity politics. I just don't think her being a woman helped her. I think she was late on the scene. I think it was a lot of things that was holding her back. And so, unfortunately, with politics, you got to play the politics.
Right.
What is the best look? What's the best sound? How are people going to take this person? And I think, unfortunately, they kind of threw her out there and was like, let's see, girl, sink or swim. Mm-hmm. Let's just see. We'll regroup. And we'll come back in 2-4 years. Let's build this thing back up and see what we could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people is voting on fear. My theory with that is.
But I think that's both sides. They sell fear. You sell fear.
Right. But
Republicans sell fear on immigration. They both sell it. I mean, that's what sells, fear.
Yeah.
Anything. You sell fear and you push people because you're pushing to get people to emotionally respond to something, right?
Right. I'm
Everybody
about to
needs
start selling fear.
that's what sells. You're like,
Taxes is running out.
you know, if you don't want to be this, do this. If you don't want to live this lifestyle, do this. Right.
Right. No, that's 100%. I'm telling you, this would be one of the things to kind of go back and remember. So if I'm a business owner or if I'm a regular person, let me talk to my regular people.
Okay, regular.
If I'm a regular person, what do I do to position myself better? My own body, my own family, whether he was president or not.
For sure.
Either way, you would have had to make a decision. Tomorrow, you got to wake up. The day
Absolutely.
you got to take the kids to school.
Absolutely.
Whole 9 yards.
Absolutely.
What do I do to benefit?
I think you do two things. One, I think you keep going along life. Whatever your plan was before this day is your plan after the day, right?
Most people is nothing.
Right. Well, hopefully you get a plan, right? And then you stay on top of the policies federally and locally that can impact you.
Right.
If you are a regular person that works a W-2 job, there may be some things that change. Maybe there's not. You can't, our political system are run by people. People are with flaws. They're not human. So you got to stay on top of it. Local elections matter. As we see, there were a number of ballot initiatives. They talked about raising minimum wage. They talked about abortion rights. They talked about healthcare. They talked about legalizing marijuana. They talked about homestead. So your local elections matter. Even if you didn't want to vote federally, locally it matters, right? The Secretary of State, the Attorney Generals you voted on. So, think about where you are. Stay active, right? And plan out what you're going to do. And look and see, be prepared. Be prepared. If rather a policy impacts you positively or negatively, hopefully the purpose of this election you got was to be prepared, was to think about what's happening and then either go with the flow or not, right? Because some things are out of your control. I didn't vote for him. And I'm going to go look and I'm going to say, okay, well, what initiatives are coming down the path that may impact me? But I need to make sure that I can withstand, I can bend and not break whatever comes down that may negative impact me. But if it's something coming down that can positively impact me, let me ride this wave. And I think sometimes as Black and brown people, we're not as intentional and forward thinking about the things we want in our lives. And I think that's very indicative about what happens at these elections. We're super ignited. We're super animated and energetic every 4 years. And we expect the president to be our mommy and daddies to give us everything that we're missing. But we got to give it to ourselves.
Right.
But you have to plan. You got to be intentional about what's happening in your life. So I would say be intentional, plan, be purposeful what's happening in your city and state.
Well, I guess that's how you help the regular people. If I'm a business owner, if I'm regular, first of all, one thing we seen for sure, all stocks went up. So if you are an average everyday person, and that is, it's not no belittling language. That's anybody that's working from Walmart all the way up to your professional doctor, right? The name of this game is how can I make more money in my sleep? Investing will be the number one thing to do, right? So just invest, learn. Nvidia's up, Google's up, everything is up. Eli Lilly
stock. Listen, weight loss is a thing. You have to be intentional.
I do not like it. I love the stock.
I don't care what you don't like about it. We have a problem of weight in this problem.
That's why Robert F. What's my boy name? Kennedy is gonna be,
the what?
He's gonna be over the healthcare. FDA.
We're gonna see. We're gonna
see what's gonna happen.
Okay, so we
regulate the chicken.
Right,
because y'all just want to shoot yourself up and still eat fried chicken. It's going to be less
regulation. Y'all already talked about Republicans want less. So you think he's going to regulate?
I don't know what he's going to do. We're going to see. I'm very interested
curious. Let's see. We're going to follow it,
what everybody going to do.
I am too.
We're going to be on. We're going to
tune in.
So
in the next 4 years, y'all going to say,
better tune in every episode.
We got
more
cancers. We got more cancers in our body because they put all these hormones in our food. Because we eat too much. Americans, every other country calls us fat. Everybody, our serving size are huge. We have an obesity problem in this country.
100%.
So the government can help as well as you can help.
For sure.
You can help.
Stop eating.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Jesus.
All right.
It's just food.
It's
well, just food.
I agree and I disagree, but either way, Eli Lilly,
right? Stocks
amazing manufacturing
jump in there.
of weight loss drugs and diabetes. So let's not forget they also the injectables. The initial part of it was to help with diabetics to keep their insulin levels and stuff down, but they found out that
do your own research
with this it helps with weight loss.
I got you.
The FDA approved them for weight loss.
They also approve opioids. Is that a good thing? All right, listen. Do your own research. If I'm an individual person, invest in stocks.
What are we talking about? We're talking about stocks and what they were approved
then
for.
Then look, so if I'm a business owner,
then you better look at the stocks that are approved. That's gonna make money. Now you got a conscience about it, or
I do. I always do.
Now he got a conscience. Sounded like a true Democrat.
I'm still what buddy say. I don't like him, but I'm gonna fatten up my purse. I'm gonna capitalize off y'all, but that's how investors do. We capitalize off of the people's emotions in a sense. Everybody's all hyped up about it. That's why the stock is up. Everybody using it. They losing weight. And then,
they also know
10 years
they
from
also
now, you're
know
come
that
all these complications.
The Republican Party is in the House. They're less regulatory, right? Which means that the gloves are off.
Crypto is up.
That means that the gloves are off. That means that businesses and people could do the things that they want to do.
New SEC chair.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be the Wild Wild West. So if you got some money, you better invest in some things and make more money. Now, 5 years.
Powell job is up for grabs.
5 years later, 6 years later, we going to look at this economy and say it made a lot of millionaires, but it also probably impacted people on a personal or deeper level.
What you mean?
When the regulatory is down or off, right, it impacts people a little differently, right? The rich will get richer, right? That's what happens. More multimillionaires, the rich will carve out more money. The poorer will probably become more poor because there's no one thinking about them. So a couple years from now, when we look at those policies and we realize what happened, we'll have to look at this date, November 5th, 2020.
I guess if you choose to stay poor, then you will be.
Oh my God,
poor.
But how do you just have a conscience and no conscience?
I do.
Poor are the people who need advocates. Rich people don't need advocacy.
I'm advocating for the poor.
Oh, okay.
You need to start businesses. You need to raise your skill level.
Okay.
You need to get educated.
Okay.
You need to make more money.
No problem.
You need to invest in Eli Lilly. That's advocating for the poor.
Okay.
Yeah. So listen. I'm a business owner. Here's how I'm capitalizing. First of all, you need a business plan. Whether you're in business or about to jump into business, you need to know what you're trying to do.
Well, you're not going to get those $25,000 loan. You're not going to get that grant money y'all wanted. It's like, no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. They don't need no.
You need no grant money. Go to the bank.
They definitely not going to give it to you. No regulation, which means guess what? Small banks are going to get smaller and smaller.
Start in the industry with less capital.
Smaller. Community banks are going to be almost obsolete. Obsolete. That's not an excuse. Bank of America, Wells Fargo does not give to the little people. Community banks do.
Yeah, but regional banks are up.
Regional banks are also community small banks.
Right, they're going to lend. I don't think they're gonna leave.
Okay, they're getting absorbed and carved out with more regulation. It helps when you have some type of regulation in banking. It typically allows for a more competitive market for multi-tier banking, right? Community banking, which is a Navy Federal, a credit union, a small regional banks, typically lend to mom and pops to start up businesses. Wells Fargo, Bank of America don't do that. A Chase don't do that.
And at the end of all that, if you want to grow your business and scale your business, do so.
You can't. Okay, no problem. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
First of all,
no regulation, no policy.
We'll be here every week to report on it.
We will.
On all the policies. Make sure y'all tune in, subscribe. Make sure if you're new to the channel, hit that bell, hit that button. Come to our channel because we're going to be talking about it.
We typically talk about business.
Down every policy. We're going to help every business owner. We're going to help every individual that's looking to grow and scale them individually. That's the only thing I can do. I'm advocating for the less to get more. That's what I'm advocating for.
Okay, I'm with that.
That's what I'm
advocating for that too then. We're both advocating for that.
Right now you got a red sweep. So the only thing I can say is use it to your advantage. There's going to be some stuff that's coming out that you ain't going to like. And there's going to be some stuff that come out that you can possibly benefit from.
For sure.
So you need a game plan. Going into 2025, don't sit idle. This ain't the normal Thanksgiving and Christmas. This is the strategizing. This is third three arts of war. That's what this is.
Be one of those few multimillionaires that's going to come out of this administration.
100%. I believe that when people make money at the top, it flows down to the bottom.
Right. You're on the Republican trickle down effect. I got it.
I mean, I don't know if we call it Republican or not.
But that's typically their stance, trickle down. That's typically their model. They're like, if we make the rich richer, it'll trickle down to the middle class and poor.
COVID happened. It proved all of that.
Oh, okay.
Everybody wealth went up.
I don't know how
everybody wealth went up. You ain't see the reports?
It did not.
Oh my goodness.
More the rich make more money.
More black people was in business, invested. More black women had businesses. More people wealth went up.
That didn't have anything to do from COVID.
It didn't? Why
no,
not?
sir. No, sir.
Okay.
You got your iPad there. Pull it up.
No.
What was the level of millionaires generated and made? What was what out of COVID became? Again, that the wealthier got
Y'all
wealthy
gotta go back and review the
poor
episodes
got
when we
poorer.
broke it
The
down.
middle class is shrinking.
No.
There's
that's
your
absolutely
iPad.
false.
Pull it up.
That's absolutely
then
false.
pull it up. Pull
absolutely
it up.
False.
Search. Has the middle class grown or shrunk since 2016?
What'd you say? Has the what? I'm gonna do it too. Has the middle class
grown or shrink since 2016? Or you can say since 2016.
Why are you going back to 2016?
Well, because that'll give you a base. I mean,
when Trump was first elected.
Well, when would you do it? What would you? I don't. Okay, no.
This is real time, y'all.
That's real. Listen, we trying to figure it out here.
2016 to present.
Mm-hmm.
What did it say? Did you mean? Yeah, that's what I mean. Grammatically, it's helping me out.
Let me see. Let me move on over. Thank you, sir. Thank you. The middle class in the United States has not grown in size since 2016, but it has lost ground financially to upper income households. The middle class has remained around 50% of the population. The middle class has fallen.
Oh my God. All the news reports say it's fallen.
This is okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's AI. That's ChatGPT.
The share of adults who live in a middle class household fell from 61% in 1971 to 50% in 2021. So the middle class is shrinking.
So what's middle
class? Shrinking.
Let's break this down.
They're the working poor.
No.
Oh, okay, no problem. But you know who has grown? Wealthy people. They don't need advocates. Okay, they don't need wealthy people. Don't need incentives to make more money. And you need to help the middle class.
Range from for a 3-person household was 56 to 169,000.
Middle class.
2023 income was 40 to 121. 2024 52 to. If you making $100,000 a year
in New York. With 3 kids and student loan debt.
You can move.
But my thing is, it's average.
Here?
Okay, listen.
Now we gotta compensate because you decided to stay in New York and only make
because you're saying listen, because you're about to say
you make $100,000 a year.
Correct.
You are employed somewhere.
And you're considered the middle class.
Right.
And that demographic is shrinking.
If you are employed somewhere, you can seek other employment. I'm kind of like confused
so
here.
why? Okay, so I mean,
you can grow your own income.
The anecdotal. Okay,
everybody
doesn't want to be a business.
You don't have to be a business owner.
If I'm a business owner, who do I hire? If everybody's a business owner, if I'm a business owner, we need each other. Right? Business owner needs employees and people to buy my stuff.
That's why businesses have to. That's why businesses
If I'm a business owner and the middle class is constantly shrinking, right? There's less discretionary income in the business, depending on the type of business I am, right? Correct? The middle class is shrinking. Right? Those are the people who need advocates. Those are the people who need innovation. How do we create a wealthier middle class? How do we put more money in the economy? Rich people don't need advocacy. They don't need you to be like, yeah, rich people, we need you to make more money. We need you. No, you don't need that. A lot of what needs to happen is in the bottom to push up the bottom and the middle class. You don't need that on the top. They don't need any help.
I understand your views.
Okay, I got you.
I understand your views. I think if we can get a business to grow and scale their business,
Mm-hmm.
the business owner will make more money. You have the opportunity to hire better, which means the middle class can grow in those sectors. Right now, what's happening is you don't have enough businesses on a growing running start, in a sense. Maybe in our community, I could be blind to this overall, that will create more middle class people. And so that's where you're at. If you're making $100,000 a year, you are employed at some big institution and you are stuck there, whether it's on you or them. Either way, that's just how this works. People who work a lot of this is government workers. People who work government, you're not gonna. They are consistently there for the benefits that they get, the consistency of the check that they make, and the consistency of life that they choose that.
I wouldn't disagree with that, but I don't think that's the issue here, right? We're talking about how policy can help fuel and have a thriving economy, policy and business owners, right? And so when you look at Republican side of it that says, hey, I feel like my policy, my money, and my time and attention should be focused on the top, because I think that it'll trickle down to everybody else, right? Where Democrats say, well, no, I think our attention, our money, and our advocacy should be focused on the bottom, because and it'll ignite and fuel the economy, right? Those are the pretty much the two wavelengths or viewpoints of each party. Rather you vote a Democrat or Republican, we are in a season where the Republicans are running every part of the government. And so I agree that, hey, you got to be ready. You got to be intentional, get a plan about what's going to happen. There are going to be policies and procedures that's not going to favor you. And there are going to be some that you could possibly take advantage of that you seemingly think are out of reach for you, which is going to be high level stocks, trading, and businesses. And most average Americans don't speak and talk that language. So come to us and we'll help you figure it out.
For sure. And I think you can
help you dissect it so you can take advantage of it.
I think my biggest argument is that we could do business different.
Yeah.
Maybe I should say it that way. Because I think we're comparing the old of what we're used to seeing and we're doing it from the sidelines, not being in the field.
Yeah.
So if I grow my business, or when I grow my business, I can choose to be the employer who pay good wages. It could be a Mark Cuban who have employees that invest into your company.
Absolutely.
Profit sharing, the whole 9 yards. Give people what they deserve and feel, because you're getting a cut as well.
Yeah.
If I'm the business owner, I'm gonna probably benefit in more ways than none anyway. And so why not help those people? And you can do business absolutely different than what our counterparts have been doing or what we're used to seeing. I don't think their way is the absolute way, but it is a way. And I think you need to get in the game to learn the rules and start playing, and then taking back what you feel can benefit you and your company.
I agree.
That's how you should do this.
I agree.
100%.
I agree. We're on the same side of the fence on that one.
It's got a temperature check.
We're on the same side of the fence on that one.
I don't want your people coming for me and stuff.
Listen,
you know what I mean? I don't want your people
let me see what else we have. Let's see.
Coming for me.
What? Let me look at my Georgia. Now I was really disappointed with Georgia, but we could talk about that another time.
All the sweets.
I am.
What's wrong with Georgia?
Child.
What happened with Georgia? Georgia?
I just feel like we should. 2.6 million
Georgia
voted for Trump. 2.5 million voted for Harris. Jill Stein.
The only place to be.
And the other people, they got 300,000. I was disappointed how he was able to kind of.
But it's expected. I feel like that's.
I could still be disappointed.
I get you.
Can I be disappointed?
I get you.
That's a real feeling and emotion. Don't invalidate my feelings now.
Oh, my bad. Y'all got the tissue box with it. Get to clean that.
All right, so we can go down a few states. This is what's happening in your state. If you did not know, Arizona, they passed Proposition 139. You have a right to an abortion up to 24 weeks. Colorado, you have a right to an abortion and health care. 1.5. Florida, unfortunately, it did not pass because your state Congress switched it up on you. Now that you need a supermajority. Maryland, you have a right to an abortion for reproductive rights. You have the ability to make an effective decision to prevent, continue, or end your own pregnancy up to 24 weeks. Missouri, you also passed, so you have a right to an abortion, including prenatal care, childbirth, postpartum care, birth control. Come on, Missouri. Birth control, abortion, miscarriage care, and respectful birthing conditions. Okay. Montana, it passed. You have a right to get an abortion. Yeah. Nebraska said no. Sorry, Nebraska. You cannot get it out of the first trimester. Prohibits abortion after the first trimester. Sorry, Nebraska.
What's the demographics of Nebraska?
Let me see. New York. Racist. New York has a right to
everything. I bet the New York passed all the stuff. Give me everything. Give me the
don't do New York that way.
I'm from New York. Everything. Give me all of it. And I want the tip too. That's what New York
but don't do New York. Yes, New York. Some. But New York is also one of our wealthiest states.
Right.
Okay. So don't do that to New York.
Right.
They foot the bill for a lot of these Republican states.
I'm not for dead presidents to represent me.
Whatever. Because the rest of y'all don't foot the bill.
While we going through this bill, y'all make sure y'all tune into, listen, our last 2 episodes, we broke down Harris bill. We broke down Trump bill. Next week, we're going to be doing more content around business politics for sure. We're going to make sure that you get the updates on the policies that's happening, how it can affect you as a person, as Farrah care more about the people and businesses, as I'm more concerned with us growing wealth, and I believe this is one of our fastest ways to do it.
I think you can have a little soul in business. Okay, Arizona also eliminated partisan primaries. That's very important. So it's open. There's no one side or this side. I think that's important. So people say your vote don't count. You can't change the system. Arizona did. Eliminates partisan primaries and replaces it with an open system. Way to go, Arizona.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah. No excuse. Connecticut authorizes the state legislature to provide no excuse absentee voting. So they don't really care about your issues. Let me see. It did pass. Yes. So a no excuse absentee amendment, which means that you can't have any excuses. You got to get the absentee in or not. Basically, that's it. District of Columbia also ranked choice voting, which would allow voters who are not registered with a political party to vote in primary. So that's really good. District of Columbia also did that. Colorado did that. So open voting, that's really good. So you don't put people in a box. You just vote the way you feel, regardless of party. Okay. I think Iowa, allows 17-year-olds to vote in the primaries. So before it was 18. So they lowered it to 17-year-olds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, Iowa. Go do that. Okay.
Bamboozle them kids.
Oh Lord.
My kids come home talking about the election. I'm like, why?
They should know it. Civics is important. They should learn civics in school.
Unbiased though. You should learn everything.
It should be unbiased. I'm agreeing.
They came home. I was pissed.
Kentucky is saying that you need to be a citizen to vote, which I thought you had to be that anyway, but whatever, Kentucky. Okay.
You gotta look into Kentucky laws now.
1.2 voted. Okay.
That's a derby.
Okay. So also Missouri.
They living different out there.
They're like, you got to be a citizen to vote.
Living different out there, boy.
Thought you had to be a citizen anyway.
You got pro-choice of state. You better choose the right.
You better choose the right state. Okay, so
pro-choice of state.
Let me see who else. Anything else good in here? Nevada increased voter ID that passed. Amendments to the Constitution require Nevada residents to present a form of photo ID to verify their identity while voting. You could do your Social Security card or your driver's license. So
you got demographic on Black people?
CNN definitely does. On where in particular states
Yeah, like
or
what's the sentiment? Yeah, I'm very curious to not only black people who voted either way, right? What are you gonna get out of
Ohio,
this?
this was important. Ohio replaces the current Ohio redistricting commission. So no more redlining. So it's a citizen-led redistricting committee. So if you a citizen in Ohio and all that gerrymandering that goes on sometimes in those states, it's a citizen-led redistricting committee. So you could redraw the lines as a committee. So y'all got to show up
Redraw the lines for what?
in the maps, the political map. So sometimes they call it gerrymandering. You ever look at a map and how, in terms of the state, who gets certain
Is the same as redlining for housing?
I didn't mean to say redlining. That was housing.
Oh.
That's different. Gerrymandering is similar, but what they do is each state they draw out the maps and they say these people can have a certain amount of delegates, like your House representatives, and these. So what they do is they carve out, because typically black people vote Democratic. So they make these weird shapes to put all black people in one box.
I got you.
So basically they're saying, no, don't do it like that, because then that makes you only cater to one particular group, right? If you got black and white people, if you have both conservative and Democrats in your district, then that means you have to find what? Bipartisanship. You have to work for both people. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Versus kind of, so way to go, Ohio. They voted for a citizen redistrict commission. I like that.
Marijuana passed.
I know, that's what I was trying to find. Marijuana.
They got Florida passed it. North Dakota said no. And South Dakota said no. That's interesting.
Well, they probably put sometimes the way the questions are laid out, open primaries. So
well, there you have it, y'all. Right. Listen, it's been a good 24 hours.
No, it was failed in Florida.
Oh, it's an updated
and not passed. The initiative would legalize recreation. Oh, maybe the more votes came in. Maybe more votes came in. Maybe more votes.
Yeah, this is live right on CNN.com.
Well, they said recreational use for 21-year-olds.
Cite the source.
It said no, not passed. Maybe you had to have like a super majority or something.
But listen, y'all, we're going to be coming in live. Listen, stay updated, stay optimistic, do your thing out there. Listen, whatever you got, President Trump-elect came back. The greatest political thing that have happened in history of America, I guess, is what the journalists are coining it. See what you can get out of it. That's always my take on it. What can you get out of it? How can we benefit from his super comeback? All right. And so, like I said, stay tuned to our show. We're gonna be doing live updates on. We'll go live and doing special things, and we definitely gonna be giving you all your quick political, business, economic news, where you can get everything here weekly.
Yeah.
Tune in to Mind Your Biz. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.